Very much so.
As a premier community in Hampton Roads, James City County strives to maintain a high quality of life for all citizens through sound fiscal management and legislative actions. In an ongoing effort to increase transparency, your Board of Supervisors holds public meetings to garner citizen input before making important decisions. Here is tonight's meeting agenda. Stay tuned. The Board of Supervisors meeting will begin shortly.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the James City Service Authority Board of Directors. Ms. Luton, will you please call the roll?
Apple. Ms. Larson.
Here.
Mr. McGlennon.
Here.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Here.
Ms. Null.
Present. You have any presentation tonight?
Ma'am.
No, ma'am. Okay. Public comment? Any speaker cards?
None.
No. Okay. Tonight's consent calendar consists of the following items: contract award $249,780 for Wexford Hills W-28 well number 1 replacement, and the minutes adoption. If no one wishes to
I'll
pull
move
and
the
read.
adoption of the consent calendar.
Thank you. Ms. Luton, call the roll, please.
Ms. Larson.
Aye.
Mr. McGlennon.
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Aye.
Ms. Null.
Aye. And we have no public hearings tonight. So on board considerations, we have the financial policy and investment policy updates. Please give
Thank
us
you, Ms.
staff
Null.
presentation.
The updates before you are for the financial policy and the investment policy of the James City Service Authority. These policies were last updated in March of 2021. Tonight's item is for the financial policy to create a rate stabilization reserve with a defined minimum target balance to manage unexpected revenue shortfalls or unanticipated expenses while minimizing need for large rate increases, adding minimum target balance language for the repair and replacement reserve and the alternative water supply reserve, and finally to update and simplify the assessment of reducing reliance on facility charge revenue to maintain debt service coverage. These revisions were developed in consultation with the County Attorney's Office, JCSA's financial advisor Davenport and Company, and Stantec, the 2025 rate study consultant. The second part of this item is for the updates to the investment policy. And this policy sets forth the investment and operational policies for the management of public funds in accordance with the Code of Virginia. The proposed revisions have been developed in conjunction with our investment advisor, PFM Asset Management, and the purpose of the updates are to provide additional flexibility to achieve the objectives of preservation of principal, maintenance of liquidity, and maximizing return, and also to reflect current references to credit rating agencies and their associated ratings. So, does anybody on the board have any questions about this item?
I didn't have any questions. I just appreciated the detail and several of the items that you pointed out. And I'm glad that we're updating it. You need a motion to move it?
Yes, please.
I will move that motion.
All right.
Ms. Luton, call the roll, please.
Ms. Larson,
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan,
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Aye.
Ms. Null.
Aye. Any board requests and directives?
Yeah, I just
Yes.
had two quick things, if I should. I noticed that there seemed to have been a lot of hookup fees, essentially, this year compared to some recent years. Is that right?
Well,
Just-
the number might have picked up, Mr. McGlinnan. The amounts are about the same.
Are they?
The thing about looking at facility revenue or tap fee revenue is the other way it's referred to from year to year. If you have a large customer who might have a master meter, let's say an
Right.
apartment complex, that would only count as one connection, but the amount of tap fees collected is larger
Okay.
because the tap fees are based on the meter size. So you have to sort of take that into consideration when you're looking at the tap fee collections from year to year. So on the were you referring to the dashboard?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So there are some sort of large differences if you do have a big apartment complex or maybe two that come online in a given year. But I think we're pretty much on track. I mean, we have seen a little bit more healthy collection in the past year or so. About 2 or so years ago, I think it was kind of an after effect of COVID. There was a dip, but we are seeing it come back to the levels that we'd expect to see.
Thanks. And the other thing I noticed on the dashboard was it seemed like there was a pretty large increase this year in water production.
Yes, there has been a noticeable increase. If you look at the line graph, you can see, I believe it's a red line. And we did have Newport News was doing some maintenance on one of their facilities over by the Centera Hospital, and that's where we have an interconnect. So they were hooked up for a while and drawing water, and so that was from, I think, sometime in October to mid-February. So, but we have also noticed that demand does seem to be up. There was a very, very dry October. It only rained one day in October. So the people, watering their lawns, that type of thing for irrigation, that also resulted in an uptick in demand, and probably into November a little bit too, before
I
people
thought that
winterize.
probably the dry weather had something to do
Probably
with
the
it.
dry weather had something to do with it, and also that Newport News use. But we are, as part of our requirements, we maintain the SCADA system to ensure that, we know what the pressures are in the system and to monitor any, changes in demand that we see over time.
I didn't want to take the opportunity of Mr. Powell not being here today to not to show off your command of all the information about the service authority.
Okay, Mr. McConnell. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for just putting in the bills and in emails to us, out to the public about what's going on and what the costs are and how we've pushed them out and made them not so high and low like we asked. I really appreciate that, and I think more people appreciate that now because they can understand that. Once you go through it, you can understand it. So that's great to see, and I appreciate that. So do you have a report? Manager's report?
Nothing further to add.
Okay.
I guess I will say that the water line replacement on the College Creek Bridge was completed recently, and that went very smoothly. The contractor had to work around an HRSD project that was taking place at the same time, but it's complete, and we're very satisfied with the results.
Is the HRSD, is that complete as well?
Larson, I do not know. I can
Okay.
find out and let you know if you would like me to.
Yeah, just because I think,
ma'am.
I just want to urge caution if people think there might not be any more traffic issues on
Right, so
199.
I will look at that. I will get with HRSD
Okay.
and see what I can find out, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's all I have.
That's it.
Thank you.
I need a motion to adjourn till 5 p.m. on April 8th for the regular meeting.
So moved.
Ms. Larson,
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan.
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Aye.
Ms. Null.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for letting me go. Appreciate that.
We're not always so kind to Doug.
Call
Call to order this meeting of the James City County Board of Supervisors for a regular meeting. Mr. Renham, will you call the roll, please?
Ms. Knoll?
Present.
Ms. Knoll represents the Stonehouse District. Ms. Larson?
Here.
Ms. Larson represents the Berkeley District. Mr. McGlennon?
Here.
Mr. McGlennon represents the Roberts District and is Vice Chair of the Board. Mr. Eisenhower?
Here.
Mr. Eisenhower represents the Jamestown District and is Chair of the Board. Seated to my left is Adam Kinsman, the County Attorney. I'm Brad Reinheimer, Assistant County Administrator. It's my pleasure to be sitting in for Mr. Stevens this evening and serving as a clerk to the board.
For our moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance, we have a young lady who is going to lead us. I make sure I get the name pronounced correctly, Jayliana Edwards, and she's in the 5th grade. She is a house leader for Panda Bears. She is on bus patrol, choir, and in the orchestra plays the violin. So, Jayliana, if you would step up to the podium and after a few moments of silence lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, we'd really appreciate it.
United States.
And to the republic for which it stands, one.
Jayliana, I got a present for you. I'm going to come down there.
Gonna get a picture, Jim?
As everyone can tell, we are a little short. Mr. Hipple is out ill this evening, and I want to thank him because of apparently what he has, his whole company has, so we appreciate him not bringing it here and sharing it with us. So I hope we have a speedy recovery for Mr. Hipple. Let's see, public comment. We have first speaker is going to be Sherry Beaufort.
Good evening, Madam
Evening.
Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Supervisors. My name is Sherry Buford. I live in Grove. My address is 8594 Pocahontas Trail. And I'm not going to be before you long. I'm here to address the concern that Grove citizens have about the trash dumping on 60. We have been turning in emails to the general services. Some of you are probably familiar with Joe. Joe and I were doing that with Grove Heights. There was a lot of dumping there. There was a sign already there, but people still dumped there. Then there was a light put. The light didn't work initially. Now the light works. Then there was a camera put. We appreciate that camera because that did cause it to lessen. I drive by periodically to see if there's still trash. I don't notice any trash, not on Grove Heights. It's as if they have brought it to 60. And there is constant trash on the shoulders, in the middle of the highway, and bags of it at times, boxes, sometimes the little items, appliances, but very hazardous. I made a couple of calls to the police department. I spoke with Officer Morrison, who said that he would be sending someone out. I asked for extra patrolling, especially during the time when we are asleep. It seems to be happening at night when we are asleep, and usually on the weekends. And so he did agree, send someone out. I was just hoping and praying, maybe we could get maybe a do not litter sign, something. Maybe we could get a camera. I don't know what it's gonna take. We don't know who's doing it, but we are frustrated. When I say we, I mean Grove. You know, I'm getting constant calls. Cherie, did you see this? Did you see? And I go, yes. Did you call it in? So I just wanted to bring that to you all's attention to let you know we in Grove do care about 60. We love our community. And I also wanted to stand in support of the park. We are still looking for the park, rooting for the park. So I thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Second speaker is Ali Stoger. Okay. Lucky on the pronunciation, right?
Good evening, I'm Ali Stoger. My address is 6205 Tucker Landing in Williamsburg. I'm a recent arrival. I moved here in June of 2024. I love living here, but also loved living in my previous community, which was in beautiful western Prince William County, until the fast and furious data center onslaught there. In 2016, Prince William County established the by right zoning in the Data Center Opportunity Zone Overlay District. But in spite of that, in 2019, the data center industry began to target western Prince William County suburban, residential, and rural areas. They claimed there was not enough contiguous space in the overlay district for the 130-acre, 400-acre, and 1,200-acre data center campuses they needed. With generous use of non-disclosure agreements, immense data center campuses were approved, one after the other. One of our local newspapers had a headline at one point that read, "Another day, another data center." That's how fast they were being approved. These immense data center campuses, most people did not realize were campuses. People thought it was just a data center. What was being approved was massive data center campuses. And the public was not aware of that. They were pretty much the largest data centers anywhere in the world. And the reality is they were being approved before even the first immense data center campus was finished. So we didn't know what would be coming our way, but they still kept approving more and more and more. Prince William County has already built 10 million square feet of data center space and has approved a total of 80 million square feet of data center space. No one knows how they will find the electrical grid power, what they're going to do to our water, environment, and most of all, how noisy this will be for homes and schools adjacent or close to these immense campuses. So I commend James City County for trying to get ahead of what may be coming. To this end, I want to pass along recent information from Prince William County. Because 24/7 data center noise issues, because of the 24/7 data center noise issues in residential areas, it became obvious that our noise codes were obsolete and weakest in the very area where data center noise was the biggest problem. Eventually, Prince William Supervisors put together a data center advisory group to address noise and other data center issues. But big red flag here. Very little was accomplished because the group included data center representatives. Nothing was done. A few months ago, our new chair, Chair Jefferson, removed the data center representatives. Now they, I guess it's not me anymore, we got something done. So at the upcoming March 18th Prince William County Supervisor meeting, there's going to be a presentation by JMT JMT is a company under contract to Prince William County to develop the new noise ordinance. You may also eventually hear of Mosley Architects, which leads a group under contract to update the zoning ordinance and design construction and standards manual specifically for data centers. And lastly, you may also see a reference to an acoustical expert. I think his name is David Nelson, although I'm not sure. All of this is so far at a cost of $900,000 plus for Prince William County. Hopefully, having access to this information will shorten the learning curve and expense for James City County. But here's the kicker. Even with all this money, county resources, and thousands of residents' time, expertise, and research being thrown at this, will it improve some aspects of the residential data issues related to data centers? I'm just about to finish, but one more minute, is that okay? Okay.
Wind up in one sentence or two.
Okay. Let's see. If you delineate an industrial data center overlay area, please make sure it is not adjacent to residential areas by zoning large commercial or similar use around those areas so that they're not anywhere near residents. Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Peg Borman.
Perhaps you could email your comments so that we could get the date. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman Eisenhower, members of the board, Mr. Reinheimer, Mr. Kinsman, Ms. Dahlman, and Mr. Purse, and all the rest of you, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to say that I'm Peg Borman, and I reside at 17 Settlers Lane in downtown Lightfoot. So, and I want to mention this card that I put on your desk. I've given it to you before, but we're still needing nominations for the Clean Business Awards. We have one coming up on the 19th, and we are fortunate to have somebody this time, but we're trying to make a pool of it, so just remember that when you're out and about. And I'm here to talk a little more trash today. And I want to mention that on Saturday, there were 3 of us from the Clean County Commission that, and with our coordinator, Andrea Case, we did an annual litter survey index of the county. We followed the waterways throughout the area, and we traveled about 250 miles in about 8 hours on Saturday. And we do this every year. We've been doing it for about 10 years now. And we look to see what kind of trash is accumulated or not over the past year. And we follow the same route every year. So this is the 10th year, as I said, that we've done this. And I'm pleased to say that I really see a greater improvement over what I've seen in years past. And areas that I always gave a 4 to, which is the worst, was I gave a 1 to this year. And a lot of places were 1s and 2s. We had very few 3s and only 2 or 3 4s this time. So I was really expecting some really littered places out there, according to all the reports of people's comments and on Nextdoor and calls to me and so forth and so on. But there wasn't as much as I had expected. Of course, the plastic bags was decorating all the trees and the bushes from all the wind that we've had. And I think the wind has been picking up a lot of the stuff and from the trash cans that get knocked over and so forth. So that was some of the things that I figured that will be eliminated. We've identified these areas that need help and can use volunteers. on our upcoming county cleanup, which we have the Great American Cleanup coming on March 28th, 29th. And that's, you can register for that, askhrgreen.org/programs/Great American Cleanup. So you'll see these flyers around town, I hope. We want, and then we have another one, and I'll follow up that information later, coming up on the annual spring litter cleanup for the county is on April 26th. And we're always looking for volunteers to do our Litter League and our Adopt a Spot programs. I know that a lot of people have complained about the fact that there's litter out there, but I really have to say, in the 50-some years that I've been doing this, I know that it's not as bad as it used to be. So I thank you for your time, and thank you for helping us keep James City beautiful and clean, great place to work, live, and play. Thank you.
Foreman? Okay. Our next agenda event is consent calendar. Tonight's consent calendar consists of the following item: initiation of consideration of amendments to the zoning ordinance to consider possible amendments addressing data processing centers. And it was Christy Parrish was the point of contact on that. Does anyone wish to pull that or discussion, or can I have a motion to approve the
I'll move the consent calendar.
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Reinhammer, please call the roll.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlennon?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay. Move to public hearings. Our first public hearing, and by the way, we have no public, no representative from the Planning Commission tonight. First public hearing is an ordinance to amend and reordain Chapter 4 Building Regulations of the Code of the County of James City, Virginia, by amending Article 1, Virginia Uniform Statewide Building Code, Division 1, generally Section 4.3, Adoption and Amendments. Mr. Coghill.
Chairman, members of the board, good evening. My proposed amendments are simple housekeeping amendments, just to try to align the provisions in the county code with the sections, similar sections of the Virginia Residential Code. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about those.
Questions for Mr. Coghill? Auditory? Do you have any speaker cards for this one?
No, sir.
Okay, no. I guess I open and then close the public hearing.
Move the motion, or move the ordinance to amend?
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Reinhammer, please call the roll.
As I understand it, were you speaking to two?
Oh.
Mr.
Two
Cog-
amendments, yes, sir.
Okay, so and we have to do those separately, is that right?
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. McGlennon?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye. Okay, number 2, an ordinance to amend and reordain Chapter 15 offenses miscellaneous of the Code of James City County, Virginia by amending Section 15.28, swimming pools in regular zone for residential use. Mr. Coghill again.
This is just another one of the
Another amendment, yes, sir.
of housekeeping amendments.
Clarifies some of the language that's in the county ordinance currently and aligns it with what's in the Virginia Swimming Pool Spa and Safety Code.
I'll move that resolution
Okay, well, yeah.
or the amended
No
ordinance.
questions for staff. I'll open the public hearing and no cards. Close the public hearing, and then we will look, Mr. McGlennon has a motion. Please call the roll.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. McGlennon?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye. Okay, thank you. I believe that takes care of yours, Mr. Coghill. So, number 3, an ordinance to vacate that portion of that certain subdivision plat entitled KINGSPOINT Section 5, KINGSPOINT Corporation, owner and subdivider, located in Jamestown Magisterial District, James City County, Virginia, prepared by R.M. Mackintosh, Certified Land Surveyor, dated February 9th, 1968, and recorded on February 7th, 1969, in the Clerk's Office of the Circuit Court for the City of Williamsburg and the County of James City in Plat Book 26, page 27. Mr. Kinsman. I believe you have 2 of them back to back. We handle them separately as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've got the next numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I'll just give you one staff presentation for all of them, if that's okay.
Okay.
What we've brought for you, before you tonight is a series of ordinances and resolutions in furtherance of our housekeeping of old plats and paper streets. As you know, a paper street is one that appears on a subdivision plat, but for some reason or another, it was never improved. The board has the option to vacate these paper streets, signifying they will never be publicly improved. In these cases, we found several such paper streets in the KINGSPOINT and Norvalia neighborhoods. Both these neighborhoods are fully developed and have paper streets that have been in place for more than 50 years. These streets remain unimproved and for which the county has no bonds, funds, or intention to improve. 3 of the paper streets before you tonight are in the Norvalia neighborhood and include a path known as Laura Lane and 2 unimproved stub streets adjacent to Oslo Court. The one paper street in KINGSPOINT is unnamed and adjacent to Overlook. In addition to the ordinances of vacation, I recommend adoption of 2 resolutions to establish ingress and egress easements along the path known as Laurel Lane and the unnamed paper street in KINGSPOINT to ensure the public remains able to use them after they're vacated. In conclusion, I recommend adoption of the 2 ordinances and 2 resolutions following a public hearing on each one of them. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Mr. Kinsman?
Thank you.
Okay, no questions for staff. I'll open the public hearing on item number 3. Any speaker cards? Okay, I will close the public hearing and look to the board for direction on number 3.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the ordinance for item number 3.
Okay. Mr. Renhammer, please call the roll.
Mr. McGlinnan.
Aye.
Ms. Larson.
Aye.
Ms. Knoll.
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Aye. Okay, we go to number 4, which is the resolution to grant an access easement along the area designated as 50-foot right-of-way on that certain subdivision plat entitled KINGSPOINT Section 5, KINGSPOINT Corporation, owner and subdivider, located in Jamestown Magisterial District, James City County, Virginia, prepared by R.M. Mackintosh, certified land surveyor, dated February 9, 1968, and recorded February 7, 1969, in the clerk's office of the Circuit Court for the City of Williamsburg and the County of James City in Plat Book 26, page 27. And so we have already had our public presentation. I'll open the public hearing. Any cards?
No,
Okay,
sir.
close the public hearing and look to the board for a
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the adoption of the resolution.
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Reinhammer, please call the roll.
Ms. Knoll.
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan.
Aye.
Ms. Larson.
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Aye. Okay, we move to number 5. An ordinance to vacate a 50-foot unimproved right-of-way between 134 and 132 Oslo Court, to vacate a 50-foot unimproved right-of-way between 140 and 142 Oslo Court, and to vacate a 40-foot unimproved right-of-way known as Laurel Lane. And we'll open the public hearing. No speaker cards. Close the public hearing, and I'll look to the board for a
Mr.
motion.
Chairman, I just want to point out that if anybody's confused as to this as I was, that this refers to a Laurel Lane that is a dirt path, basically, as opposed to the street that fronts Laurel Lane Elementary School.
Clarification.
Yeah, it's
To
confusing.
November. Move to approve, sir.
Okay, do we have a motion? Okay, we have a motion. Please call the roll.
Mr. McGlinnan.
Aye.
Ms. Larson.
Aye.
Ms. Knoll.
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Aye. And finally, a resolution to grant an access easement to adjacent property owners along a 40-foot right-of-way known as Laurel Lane. And we open the public hearing. No speaker cards. Close the public hearing and look to the board.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Please call the roll, Mr. Radman.
Ms. Knoll.
Aye.
Ms. Larson.
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan.
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Aye. Okay. Okay, that takes us through to board considerations. Board consideration to the Planning Commission on CIP review. Jason Purse.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. At the February 7th, 2025 retreat meeting, the Board of Supervisors discussed the Capital Improvement Program review process. The board asked staff to prepare a policy to provide guidance to the Planning Commission on the expectations related to the CIP review. Given the board's direction, staff believes the following guidance would be appropriate. The Planning Commission should review the general or approximate location, character, and extent of proposed projects as they relate to the approved comprehensive plan. These findings should be sent to the Board of Supervisors in a memorandum form and should be a specific acknowledgement of the individual project's compatibility with the comprehensive plan and not a prioritization or ranking relative to the other projects. This review is limited to new CIP applications, as carryovers will have already been reviewed and maintenance items are excluded from this process. Staff has prepared a resolution that encompasses all of those points and would recommend that you approve that this evening. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Questions for Mr. Burse? Okay. We'll look to the board for discussion.
Motion.
Okay. The only comment I will make is I think it's important for us to at least provide guidance to the Planning Commission of what we expect on them, because there was obviously some concern or conflict. So we have a motion made. Mr. Hammer, call the roll, please.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye. Okay, board requests and directives.
You want to go this way?
Okay, not so much this month, but I went to the Hampton Roads Alliance meeting that they had in Newport News with Mr. Johnson, and it was quite informative in telling us what's going on and how we need people to work at the boat docks. What am I talking about? Newport News shipbuilding, for crying out loud. We have to build all these submarines, all these ships now, and there's not enough people. So we were talking about that, how we've got the bids and we've got the contracts with the Navy and so forth, but they can't get the people to work. So I think we need to push a little more around here on our VOTEX a lot. And I don't think a lot of people even know we have a VOTEX center up in Toano that's brand new. And they're teaching welding, electrical work, plumbing. The nursing's down in Newport News and so forth. But there are jobs out there, and we need to get people to get these jobs and know that they can come. You know, Newport News shipbuilding starts at $70,000 a year. That's a lot of money, but they need to be trained, and the training at the VOTEX centers is fairly reasonable. And another gentleman I serve with on the Economic Development Committee just said, you know, I'd like to send 20 of my guys up to the VOTEX Center. And it's like $4,000 to get certified in doing something. So I think we need to reach out to our students in middle school and start showing them what's out there and saying you can get a really good paying job when you get out of school without having to go to college, without having to get in debt. So they need to know there's options besides the military, which I love, but still, you know what plumbers make, you know what electricians make, and I think we need to get out to our people and go to the schools, but get the kids when they're younger, you know, like 8th or 9th grade, when they think these things are cool. Because when they're in high school, by the time they get to the 11th grade, they're picking out their colleges or they're trying to figure out what to do with themselves. And I think the earlier we get them and say, this is what we can do, this is what you can do, and we can get you trained, and we've got jobs for you. So that's what I got out of that. Thank you.
Well, I'll also add that with New Horizons, you can go there, become a pharmacy tech, and work your way through school and hopefully get out with less debt if you decide you want to go to if you want to go to college, but you still want to have some sort of you want to have a technical skill as well. And so yes, and you'll have an opportunity at our joint meeting on Friday. Perhaps you can bring that up, because
Sure.
I know that
Sure.
WJCC probably does not. I know they typically have a lot more applicants to New Horizons than they have spots. And that was the trend. I don't know if it still is, but it's always a good question to ask. And you are 100% right. Those skills are needed. I mean, all you have to do is go on Williamsburg News and Notes, and you see how many people are asking for a plumber, a handy person, somebody to do a skilled job. So I hear you. And I know that I attended a Newport News shipbuilding where they were saying the number of jobs that they were going to have in the coming years, and it was tremendous. So just a couple of comments. One, when I saw the pool, the change to the pool ordinance come, I immediately sent a note to Paul, because I had a situation in my district where a koi pond was put in a front yard that if it had been in a backyard, it was of the depth to require a fence. But because it was put in the front yard, a fence was not required. And, but yet it had the depth that was dangerous in the backyard, which I thought was, but this unfortunately is not a James City County. This would have to be at the state, so we couldn't really fix that with this ordinance. However, I appreciate that Paul reached out to Adam, and we are going to work on a couple of things, because the koi pond never came to be. It's just an open pit in a yard that is attracting mosquitoes, wildlife, and that kind of just was never completed. And the house has changed owners, and so it's not that it's an eyesore so much as, to me, it's a danger. And whether that danger is to public health or whether that danger is to somebody falling in. So I just want to say thank you to Paul for being receptive to hearing me, and Adam for us to work on some things moving forward. I read with great interest that York County is looking to redo the it seems like everybody's coming at James City to redo a contract. But yet York County does not provide that many services to their numerous citizens that have come to this Upper York area, including the building in the Lightfoot area that has caused great traffic. And, you know, we did reach out to them and met with them last year in hopes that we would be able to work with VDOT together to help alleviate some of that traffic. So I did reach out to Ms. Towers to ask about York County usage in 2024, and I appreciate her getting back to me. And so they actually had a percent change of 4.69%, which was out of the 3 localities was the highest percentage change in usage. The city went up by about 2%, and we actually went down a little bit, though. Let me be clear, we are 780,000% of that usage, or that total, excuse me, not percentage, but understanding that James City County citizens are the greatest users of the library system, but the others do use it as well. So I look forward to those conversations, and you know, I think that Scott has a good communicative relationship with Mark Bellamy and with Andrew Trivet, but hopefully that's a conversation that we can all have about the use of the library. And then, of course, we have our meeting on Friday, which is an open meeting at Legacy Hall, where we'll hear about the school budget. And I have been following along with that. And we had our school liaison meeting in which we saw, I believe, 3 million was mandatory things that they had to do. And so I'm sure it's going to be a very robust discussion on Friday. I was in Washington, D.C. A week ago for the National Association of Counties Federal Advocacy Program Conference. And how was it? Well, it was depressing because there's a lot happening at the federal level, and with great impact to the Commonwealth of Virginia, and probably, you know, frankly, impact here to James City County, whether that's a loss of federal jobs, and how there's just a lot going on. So I hope people are paying attention. I know VACO, we are paying attention, trying to keep up, and so more to come on that. On Wednesday, I attended the Visit Williamsburg along with the Hotel Motel Association, did the first ever kind of kickoff tourism kickoff where we had Hotel Motel Association members and the attractions were there, and Visit Williamsburg gave a look into what they are doing as far as marketing and how, and then also told all the attractions in the hotels some opportunities to work together at trade shows and other opportunities. So I thought that went very well, and we got a lot of feedback that they hope that we would continue to do this in the future, which we will do that. And just a reminder that the Visit Williamsburg board meeting, which is the 18th down at the Revolution Museum in Yorktown, is an open meeting. It's about the marketing, about anything that's going on. I urge you to please attend our meetings. And I believe that that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's always a beautiful day in James City County, but it's especially beautiful today, giving us a taste of spring. As my old Scottish grandmother always would say, though, dinny cast your cloak till the month is out, so it could get cold again.
Okay.
And I will probably be happy for that weather in August. Right before I came to this meeting, I attended a ribbon cutting for a new county business, Blissful Events, a new event space on Merrimack Trail that is available for a very reasonable rate for rental and opportunities to host events, whether it's retirements or bridal showers or baby christenings or whatever else might be the case, is a building that will be familiar to a lot of longtime residents of James City County and the greater Williamsburg area. Was at one time Frank's Truck Stop, and then moved from being Frank's Truck Stop to Tequila Rose Restaurant. And this is yet another step toward even more elegance for this building as they begin a new chapter. Had the opportunity to chat with Shatara Taylor, who is the owner of this new business, and think it's going to be very successful right there. They've got lovely outdoor and indoor space for those events to take place in. I also wanted to mention, I know Cherie Buford was here earlier tonight, and I have certainly heard the message about the trash on Pocahontas Trail and throughout areas of Grove that wind up getting a really very frustrating level of trash dumped along the roadways. And I hope that the convenience center that we are moving toward will address that at least to a considerable degree. And of course, the pilot program for trash pickup in Grove, which we're going to be starting in the near future. Also wanted to mention that a group that Cherie is involved in, Grove Connections, is going to be hosting a meeting next Wednesday night, the 19th, at James River Elementary School for the community to meet with school leadership. And so I just encourage folks in Grove or wherever else they might like to go and attend the meeting, that it will be at 6:30 at the cafeteria at James River Elementary on March 19th, which is a week from tomorrow. And a week after that, just to show that lots are going on, on March 26th at that same location, VDOT will be holding a public meeting to receive feedback on segment 1 of the improvements of Pocahontas Trail. We're getting close enough for that, enough money to have been accumulated to begin the process of planning for improvements that will include multi-use paths, lighting, bus stops that are covered so that people are out of the rain and elements. And this is a good sign that we're moving ahead with that program, and hopefully we will get that meeting as an opportunity for people to come out and learn a little bit more about what the plans entail and how they can make comments about what they would like to see as it is developing. And the park, we are getting very, very close to being able to announce the signing of an agreement. You may recall that at an earlier meeting of our board, we did approve the funding for that purchase, and we have the process of closing on it ongoing and hopefully soon to be wrapped up. So a lot of exciting things happening there, and just finally, I did want to make mention of the fact that I want to thank our new resident from the Prince William County area. I work closely with the folks from Prince William County in a group called the Coalition of High Growth Communities, and know very well both their involvement with data center issues and Loudoun counties, who are also a member of this group. It was reading some of the material about what was happening in Northern Virginia in these communities and the amount of space that was being incorporated that led to us to ask that we get a study done to help us figure out the right policy for addressing proposals for data centers. Lots of interesting things happening, lots of complexity in our community, but a lot of very, very positive things all the time. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, I forgot one thing when I saw Chief Jameson. The police department's having a job fair from 10 to 2 on Saturday morning at the LEC Center, in case you want to be a police officer.
On the 15th?
This Saturday, I don't know, I have to be there at 9:30, 8:30.
Are you signing up?
10 to 2 on Saturday. Yeah, I'm signing up, but I'm too old and they discriminated against me.
Okay, thank you. And
You're welcome.
Chief Jameson, I did want to pass on that in interaction with some of my residents in town hall meetings and everything, I had some very positive feedback about the interaction with our police department. And so please pass my congratulations on to our staff about the good job they're doing for our community. It is not going unrecognized by our residents. So thank you. Very briefly, February 26th, I had a chance to go down to Jamestown, Scotland Ferry and participate in the 100th anniversary celebration that they had. And was very interesting. I got the program, and the special guest speaker was a gentleman named Al Jester, who was the great-grandson of Captain Albert Jester, who was the first captain on the first ferry back in 1925. So it was had a whole bunch of antique cars and a room full of people. It was a very, very interesting celebration. So
I hope you took the opportunity to point out how much we appreciate the ferry.
yes, I did. I stressed the importance of the ferry. So. On February 27th, I managed to hold my town hall meeting, and although it did rain that evening, we had 52 people come out. And the subjects I talked about were the school contract, where we are with that, the county complex, FY26 budget, strategic plan, potential development at Eastern State, and our trash consolidation. I took questions. There were questions, obviously, on a lot of those. I did have a couple of questions on the sports complex as well. I did stress the need for people to get involved in the community. We have an online ability to put your name in to serve on boards and commissions. And I can tell you that every time we come up with a vacancy and we get the package up here, it's nice to have a long list of people to check through to make it difficult for us to decide who we're going to appoint. Sometimes we have 3 openings and 2 people or 1 person. So we're really looking for folks to become involved in the community and help serve on some of these boards and commissions. Our citizens are a wonderful resource for us in that respect. On March the 5th, I did get to speak to the colonial capital, Kiwanis, for the 3rd time. So now I now have 3 Kiwanis cups. After a couple more, I'll have a complete set. But they are a very interesting group. They operate on a very rigorous schedule, but they did manage to get their questions in. So it was fun speaking to them. And then on March 7th, I participated in the annual Women's Day Summit that was held down at the Sadler Center in Williamsburg. And had cooperation with the city of Williamsburg, James City County, and the Lawrence Golson and his group with the NAACP. And I managed to be the greeting speaker at Dark 30 to start. So I welcomed them all and asked them to make sure they cross over the line out in James City County to spend some money too. So we took that opportunity. I was back later in the afternoon as a panelist, and I served on a panel with Mayor Pons and former Councilman Bobby Braxton, and we had a lot of people who were there from the business community, and we were talking about how to better coordinate the efforts of business development for these new businesses in our community with the communities. And finally, I did want to say that the Wawa on Monticello is going vertical. Their beam's up. So they pretty soon we'll have a building taking shape. I know everybody was asking me about that. When is it coming out of the ground? It finally came out of the ground. So I hopefully by this summer we should maybe have that one up and running. It would be very nice. Any other comments or questions from the board?
I just had something real quick. Well, first I will say, yes, please, because not that I don't spread my tax dollars around, but I do go to the Lightfoot one where all that tax money is going to York, and I'm anxiously awaiting the Monticello Wawa. There's nothing like a low-fat French vanilla coffee. But I did want to mention that next week, the 17th through the 19th, there is a Huddle Up Fam Tour coming here with 24 participants about sports. And so just want to make people aware in case they're out and about and see a group of people, but it's really a great list that is coming. If I could just take a minute to we've got people coming from the Southern Pickleball Association, USA Field Hockey, USA Catchball Association, USA Wrestling, the American Cornhole Organization, USA Karate, American Dart Association, basketball, open gym. We just have people, disc golf. So they will be here for 2 days looking at the city of Williamsburg, York County, James City, and they'll be going, of course, to the sports complex, but just a great opportunity to showcase this area with all the sports offerings that we have. So wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Thank you.
No other comments from the board? Okay. One thing finally I did want to make sure I got on the record was I have a request and for Mr. Kinsman, the replacement church for Upward Church, which has got a SUP application in for a playground for their summer program. Apparently it's going to be before the Planning Commission in April, early April. And I've spoken to Mr. Holt and they have no problem. We would like to try to expedite the movement between that and the board just so we could hear it at our April meeting as well. I think the big question is making sure that we get the proper prior notice, public notice out for that. So that so I wanted to make sure that make that request that we got that on the docket. Okay, reports to the county administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do not have anything to report this evening.
Tell us about the government complex.
I did feel like I needed to talk about it.
I was going to say, I couldn't believe you'd pass that opportunity.
Nothing new to report this evening.
Okay. We know closed session, and I will look for a motion to adjourn until 8:30 a.m. on March 14th, 2025 for the joint meeting at Legacy Hall.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Reinhammer, call the roll, please.
Mr. McGlennon? Aye. Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye. We are adjourned.